Hi everyone, and welcome back to this last video in this series around sustainability for small and medium-sized enterprises. In this one we're going to be looking at kind of economics and finance. Now this is a big meaty subject, and it's quite often difficult for businesses to understand how their financial decision making and the systems that they actually have in place are impacting upon sustainability decisions within the organisation. So we're going to kind of try and unpick a few of those now. The first thing to kind of think about is thinking of wealth and what is wealth and how can we look beyond profit, monetary profit as the only source of value to what an organisation does. So it's very interesting when we look across kind of the distribution of wealth factors. We live on a highly unequal planet. A handful of billionaires own more wealth than half the world's global population. The distribution of wealth and the actual perception of how that wealth is distributed is kind of out of kilter with what the actual statistics tell us. So this is a kind of US version, but other versions exist. So we need to start thinking beyond wealth and looking at different value systems. And Mark Carney, the ex-Governor of England, covered a lot of this recently in the Wreath lectures that he did a few months ago. So it's worth listening to that because that gives you an understanding of an economics guy who understands that we need to look outside of money as the only driver for any business and think about how we might actually improve. Now, there's been some work done globally around looking beyond GDP, and this is the World Happiness Report, and this is regularly updated. So these are the kind of other areas of accounting and value creation that we're actually trying to be thinking about going forward. How is wealth distributed? You know, can you, for example, flatten pay structures to make people feel like they're actually more of an equal footing with colleagues who are doing the work? Are there ways of looking at, for example, share ownership with the company, so your employees are actually have a part share in that in the corporation or the organisation, and how would that potentially impact upon their investment themselves within that business? So the next thing you could be wanting to think about is carbon accounting. Now, it's going to probably be really important going forward. There's likely to be a raft of policy changes. A carbon price is likely to be introduced. There will be carbon trading. So understanding how carbon accounting and what it actually means is one step that finance departments or your accountants can start training themselves to understand what these new paradigm that's actually going to mean. And there's lots of resources around that. There are desktop resources that you can actually find and get software, buy this on a regular basis. And it kind of feels, I mean, I've worked in the environment sector a long time, and, you know, for the last sort of decade and a half, we've been asked to understand what it means to have the environment valued in economic terms. And so to now we've got this kind of change of heart where actually the economics and the understanding there, it's also coming down and understanding how we need to value things in a different way. So we're kind of hopefully going to meet halfway in the middle, and this will be good for everybody as we go forward. The other model you might like to start thinking about, and one again which has been fairly well researched, is social return on investment. Now, more often than not, this has been applied by public sector organisations because they have the kind of they have more of a need to actually understand what they are getting from their social return on their investment, as well as the actual financial returns. But it can be applied to the private sector as well, and to start just understanding what potential there is. You know, there's some great case studies around social return on investment. If you're actually running a project in your organisation, for example, you know, offering staff volunteering days on a monthly basis, can you then assess that to actually understand what the external impact is going to be and put a money value on that, which again you can build on a kind of year on year. you know, I'm not a reductive person when it comes back to taking things to a money value. I don't think that benefits particularly anyone, but I do understand that it's universally understood, and it is also an easy way to set a target on a year-on-year basis. So cost savings, for example, or higher returns on investment. And talking about costs and savings, finally, what I want us to think about is how we just will not have any profit on a dead planet. Um, we know that these issues are important, and these issues have come up again and again for managers across different types of business, and also for their, you know, their public and their clients. So most consumers are now looking to see how companies, how organisations are thinking about the environment as part of their broader day-to-day working, and the economics and the kind of finances that you undertake within your business will also underpin some of this. And so then just a final couple of points that you might want to think about. So there's going to be other financial mechanisms that you will have. You will have, for example, pensions within your organisation. Can you choose an ethical pension, one that is not investing in fossil fuels? Can you put pressure on that pension company to, you know, organise or work with you to actually develop that kind of thing? And then finally, you know, do think about actually the benefit of charitable giving in your local area as well. So there are often tax benefits to be had, but these can be in the form of partnerships or time banking or lots of other opportunities that don't have to be you know, money returns. So I hope this has given you something to think about. It's been interesting. I will do a final kind of summary video about all of this, just to put it in kind of one neat-ish little video, and then I'm going to start talking about some different conflicting areas of sustainability and how we might kind of seek pathways through, and obviously there's the run up to the COP this year as well, so we're looking forward to getting stuck into some of those news and items. So I'll see you all soon. Thanks.